This book is good. I liked it a lot. Hello you guys, my name is Jordan and welcome back to Jordy is Reading. Today I wanted to talk about what I read in March and kind of give you a TBR list of what's going to happen in April. Alright, let's get started. The first series I want to talk about, it's a trilogy. I read it in March. It's called Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. There's Under the Never Sky, Through the Never Night, and Into the Still Blue. So Under the Never Sky follows a young girl named Aria, and this is kind of after like the collapse of mankind as we know it. So she lives in a domed city that is really protected, like they've never had any diseases, they've kind of weeded all of that stuff out. They have these things called realms, which is connected. They have like a eyepiece that they can send messages through. They can travel to different places through, but you're not really going anywhere. You're sitting in your seat and you're looking through this iPad. Aria goes to like opera houses and things like that. It's very futuristic, kind of way off future kind of. Aria has been exiled from her dome city because they believe that she started a fire in one of the domes. She actually didn't start this fire. Her and her friends were in this dome because she needed information on her mother. Her mother is a scientist and is in another domed city, and she hasn't been able to talk to her. So she needs information on her mom, and these friends can kind of give her that information, I guess, but they have gone crazy. Not all of them, but a few of them have gone crazy and have decided to start a fire. This is very bad, obviously, if you live in a domed city. I mean, need I say more? It's bad, okay? But one of them succeeds in starting a fire, and it just kind of blows up from there. Aria is actually saved by someone who is not from her domed city. Is that spoiler? I don't think so, because I mean, it's fine. They think Aria started the fire, they exile her. Being exiled is not a good thing. You've lived in a domed city your entire life, you have no immunity system. There's cannibals on the outside, there's tribes on the outside, there's this thing called an ether, which is like a big lightning rod in the sky pretty much that shoots off ether storms. Bad news bears there, buddy. Bad news bears. So she is exiled into this kind of wasteland, and they just assume she's gonna die. Like, they don't have to worry about her anymore. But she is rescued by an outsider named Peregrine. Peregrine. They call him Perry. It's so much easier to say. So she is rescued by Perry. They have to survive each other and survive the ethers. They're going to a place where Aria can get help, and Perry is going to see an older friend. And it pretty much blossoms from there. There's this place called the Still Blue, which apparently is not affected by the ether. It's in its own special area that the ether has nothing to do with it. So Perry is trying to get there, and he is trying to get his entire tribe to the Still Blue. That way they all have a chance for survival. But it was an okay trilogy. It read very young to me. Very 15-year-oldish, but it was good. All of the people on the outside, or the outsiders, have, not all of them, but the majority of them have some sort of gift They either have really, really good hearing, really good sight, or really good smell. Perry has, I think he has 2, and he's like top of the notch. Not a lot of people have 2, but he has, I know his main is scent, and I think his other is like sight. He's called a seer or something like that. I know his main is scent. But my main favorite character, Roar, he is an odd owl, so he can hear really, really well. He can also, if you have like a good relationship with him, if you touch his arm and think something, he can hear that as well. Roar is my favorite character. He is hilarious during the entire trilogy of the books. He is hilarious, and he's very protective of certain people, and that comes into play later. Roar is just really awesome. I really like this book. I really like this trilogy a lot. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones. So this follows Rachel and her husband Jack, who are attending a destination wedding for Rachel's brother-in-law. So it's Jack's brother Will and his fiance Allie. They're attending this wedding with with Rachel's best friends Noah and Paige. So there's a lot of untold history between everyone, pretty much, but everyone has suspicions about everyone else. So during all of this, Rachel thinks that Allie is chasing after Jack and that they're having an affair, pretty much. There is so much more going on than just that. Jack is saying that Allie has had an affair. Allie used to work for Jack at I guess like a recording studio or a television studio, something like that. It doesn't really say in the book, but that's the kind of vibe I got from it, because Allie said no one believes Allie. Allie says she knows all these famous people. No one believes her. They kind of see her as a pathological liar, and that's why everyone is against Allie. No one wants Will to marry Allie, but they're not going to say anything because they don't want to. He is very fond of Allie and very fond of the relationship they have together, so no one's going to say anything and ruin that. There are so many twists and so many turns, and the ending is just kind of poof. What? How did that happen? This was a very good book. I loved the twist and I loved the turns. I liked the dynamic that all of the characters had together. Everyone was really close, but you could tell there was always tension there and always something in the back of somebody's mind. But I thought this book was really good. I don't think it's something that you should buy, but I definitely recommend checking it out from your library to see if you do like it. See if you like the mystery aspects and twists and turns and romance in a weird way, then this book is pretty good. The next and last book I want to talk about is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This book is good. I liked it a lot. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. We all know I love retellings, hence Heartless up here that I talk about in every single video. But These Violent Delights follows 2 gangs. They're gangs, you know, like in Romeo and Juliet. I don't know why I did quotation marks. But Roma, who is a white flower, and Juliet, who is part of the Scarlet Gang. Roma is Russian, Juliet is Chinese, I believe, and this is all going down in like 1920s Shanghai. So there's some untold history already between Roma and Juliet. They are particularly nasty to each other, only because of something that went down in their past that you learn about later. Then something crazy starts happening. Random people, it doesn't matter if they're a Scarlet Gang, it doesn't matter if they are a white flower, they start ripping out their own throats and people talk about starting to see a monster from the river. So Juliet is the heir to the Scarlet Flowers, the Scarlet Gang, and Roma is the heir to the White Flowers. So they always have some kind of errand to do or some kind of mission to do put on by their parents. Juliet's parents put her in charge of finding out what's going on. Both of the gangs dabble in selling drugs, selling bad stuff. The Scarlet Gang in particular is in that scene. We come to find out that the White Flowers are more into manufacturing the drugs. They have a lab. The monsters come, they kind of figure out that it's not something that they can do on their own. So they have to come together to just solve the mysteries of why people are randomly tearing their throat outs, why people are saying that they see a monster, is it man-made, what are they connected, what is happening. It was very good if you are into a retelling that's got modern twists on it. Even though it was based in 1926 Shanghai, it still has modern twists and turns that you don't really think would be there, but they are. The last few chapters and the epilogue of this book were just chef's kiss. It was really good. It's not what you expect would happen in a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but it was so good. I loved it so much. And I will definitely be reading Our Violent Ends in April. So let's go ahead and talk about my kind of planned TBR for April. So the first thing on our list is Our Violent Ends, which is going to follow by Chloe Gong, obviously. And it's going to continue to follow Roma and Juliet and see what happens after. Okay, the next book I have is Gilded by Marissa Meyer, and I believe this is supposed to be like a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. It follows a young girl named Cyrilda, I believe is how you say her name, Cyrilda. She has been cursed with the gift of telling amazing stories. And one day the king hears of her stories and she is whisked away to go to the castle. The king is making her spin straw into gold, and somehow she summons a mysterious boy and then needs help to find him again, and the king's like, okay, but there's gonna be a price for it. And then it just goes from there. And there's all kinds of mysteries from this castle and crazy things going down. So I'm excited about this one. I'm a really big fan, you guys know, of Marissa Meyer. And I am really looking forward to this one. It doesn't look like it's going to be a long read, so I should be able to finish it fairly quickly. We'll see. The next book I have to be read in April is The Maidens. So The Maidens follows a group therapist, Mariana, who becomes fixated on the Maidens after her niece's friend dies. The Maidens is like a secret group at Cambridge University. They kind of start dying, and Mariana becomes obsessed with it, and she soon comes to think or whatever that one of the professors is killing off all of the students. So she feels like she needs to go save them, no matter the cost. So this one, I've actually already started this one. It's really good so far. Super excited to see where it leads. And the fact that, I don't know why, but psychologists or therapists as a main character always really get me, because you think that they should know all these things, but they don't. So yeah. I'm really excited to finish reading this one. This one seems really, really good. So the next book on my list is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This follows an orphan, Alina, who is a soldier, and she's trying to make it, they're trying to make it across what's called the Shadowfold. There are monsters, there are crazy things in the Shadowfold, and so obviously they get attacked. and she comes out with this magic that she didn't even know she had. I love books with main characters who have magic and they have no idea they have magic until something crazy happens, and then poof, it all comes out. So I'm really excited to read this one. I have not seen the Netflix series. I don't want to see it until after I read these. This is actually part of a trilogy. This is the first book of a trilogy. So I want to read the trilogy before I watch the Netflix series, but I've heard really great things about the Netflix series. So if you don't want to read the book, go check out Shadow and Bone on Netflix. The next book I have is The Atlas 6. I actually saw another YouTuber read this one and she said it's really good. So there's 6 contestants, students, who all have magic, and they are fighting to become a part of the Alexandrians and the Alexandria Library. And this is just kind of their tale of everything that's going down. They are fighting like tooth and nail. Some people may die. It's that kind of fight and that kind of magic. But I have heard a lot of good things about this one as well. So it's definitely on my TBR, and I actually just bought this one a few days ago. Look how pretty that is. That is very, very pretty. Alright, that's all I've got for this video. Gotta get started on these April reads. It's gonna be a really good month. It was a really good month last month, so let's hope it's a good book month this month as well. Alright, you guys, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the April reads I'm gonna be reading. Let me know if you've read any of them. Alright, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye!